If you've had any kind of long-term health issue, you probably find yourself asking, when am I finally going to be healthy? And this is a conversation that I've had with quite a few people here with chronic illnesses here, and it's difficult to answer that question. There are so many factors that go into this. So when we're talking about health in general, we have to look at everything that comprises health. So we have to look at how is your diet, we have to look at how is your sleep, how's your exercise, how's your energy production, how's your immune function, how's your stress level, what can we do to reduce those things, what can we do to improve those things. And when we get enough things stepped in the right direction, we get the ball rolling in the right direction. It's difficult though. Like how do you assess that? And that's the hard part. And that's something that I have worked throughout my career to try and figure out exactly how to assess that. And I'm not smart enough to answer that question just yet. But let's dive in a little deeper as far as what does this take. So when we look at any kind of health issue, for the most case, obviously there's other things that can happen. You could get injured in sports. You can be in a motor vehicle accident or whatever else that can happen instantly, and then you have a long healing path ahead of you. Things like that happen, right? But for most people, when we're talking about chronic diseases, we're talking about things that came on slowly. They came on over time. And that's how all of health works. Our health is something that if you smoke one cigarette, that cigarette doesn't lead to cancer right away, right? If you don't sleep for one night, it's not like you fall over because you don't have any energy. If you eat a bunch of sugar, you don't have diabetes the next day. It's not an instant thing. And all of us, we all want to do this. I'm the same way. I am very, very impatient when it comes to my health. I want to have things right away, but I realize that it doesn't work that way. And if we work out, we don't come home and just like buff the next day, right? We don't have the body that we want the next day. It doesn't work that way. But we want it that way. So where do we find that motivation to hold off long term and continue to move forward? And this is something that is really a struggle for a lot of people, because when we have this chronic stress, we end up decreasing the frontal lobe function. When we have that frontal lobe function decreased, it's hard for us to look into the future and make the decisions that are going to be good for us long term. That's why when you get stressed out, you reach for some sort of comfort food, right? The stuff that really you shouldn't have. It's comfort food. That's what you want when you're stressed out, because it provides you that reward. It provides you that relief of feeling some sort of reward. And that's what a lot of us need, is we just need to see something moving in a positive direction. And that's the thing to look for. That is the best thing that I can tell you as far as this goes. Document your journey. It is very, very difficult for us to look back and say, this is where I was and this is where I am now. We have to look at this in a way that we can actually, I don't even know how to, not really assess, but a way that we can watch our progress. So, if you get on everybody has a video camera now, right? Every cell phone can record video. Document your journey. Every single day, just sit down. Hey, this is where I'm starting out. This is where I'm at today. This is where I'm at the next day. This is where I'm at the day after that. You can follow yourself and you can watch yourself progress. Energy is not something that you just all of a sudden it's there, right? It's not something that we overnight see a massive difference. But if we look over the course of a couple weeks, you might be so debilitated you could barely talk. Your voice was really weak, and you hear sick people like that all the time. The next week they have power to their voice. I see it in my office all the time, where people come in and they just feel miserable, and you can just tell it from every aspect of their demeanor, the way that they hold their body, the way that they move, the way that they talk, everything. And then the next time they come in and they're significantly better, and you can see that progress, but you mention it to them, nobody realizes it, right? Because a lot of us don't know how sick we are until we get better. A lot of us don't really, it's hard for us to weigh that. It's hard for us to actually look at it and say, this is where I'm starting out, this is where I'm at. And this is what Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan call the gap in the gain. A lot of us in health are stuck in the gap. We see the gap from where we're at to where we want to be, but we don't see the gain that we made. Starting here, we made it to here, right? And that's what we need to look at. We need to see that progress of where we started to where we're at now, instead of looking at how far we have to go yet. Because when we look at how far we have to go, we're never going to be happy. All we're ever going to be is frustrated because we're not to where we want to be. And let's be honest, are you ever going to reach the point where you don't have any further aspirations? You're always going to want to be better, right? Talk to anybody who's 50, 60 years old. They're going to tell you that they wish they were younger. They're going to wish that they could do the things that they could do when they were 30 and 40, right? It's just the way it works, no matter where you're at. And it's frustrating. You see yourself putting in the effort. You see yourself spending the time. You see yourself spending the money. And if you don't have a way to quantify this, then you're not ever going to be happy. And it's going to be very, very difficult for you to get healthy. Because what that causes, when we look at that gap of where we're at now to where we still have to go and how much work that's going to take, what does that cause? Stress, right? What holds most of us back? Stress levels. When we have those high stress levels, we don't have the energy reserves to handle everything. We've got so much energy requirement for the things that we do throughout the day, which for most people is massive. And especially if you're not feeling good and you're pushing yourself through a day where you're doing the things that you would normally do on when you're feeling good, it's going to be difficult for you to muster up all the energy that you need, not only for that, but then to do the things that you want to do afterward, to take the time to heal and do all these other things. It's very, very difficult. And like I said, that causes a big amount of stress. And that's something that just takes massive amounts of energy from us. Think about all the consequences of stress. Why does stress have, why does stress cause us in that ability to just instantly make a decision? We're impulsive. Why does it cause that? Because we don't have the energy to think about the future consequences, right? That's why it leads to stress eating or making poor decisions on having alcohol or drugs or whatever it may be for that person. We can't see those future consequences. Why does it cause us to want to lay down, sit down, do nothing? We're tired, right? Why does it cause us to do all these other things? It's all because we don't have that extra energy. It takes a ton out of us. Think about how you feel when you're sick. When you're sick, that sympathetic nervous system kicks up. That sympathetic nervous system is the one that's stress. It's survival. It's all these different things. Same thing is happening when you get stressed out. It might not be to that same degree, but it's to a lesser degree, and it still takes a ton of energy, right? We've got to have a way to supply that. So if you are stuck right now, there's no answer for how long it's going to take you to get better. That's something that it sucks to say. It sucks to hear. But there is good news in this. There's a lot of good news in this. Document your journey. It's going to give you some things to look back on and see how much progress you've made. But it's also going to be something that you can use in the future because you've done one of the most difficult things there is to do. So you've got something that you can watch yourself do something very, very difficult. And that's going to show you in the times that you're down a little bit, but it's not a major thing. It's something that will pass in the near future. You've done something way harder than that, right? It gives you that motivation. So document the journey. There are other things you can do though. Meditation. Something that doesn't take a whole lot, right? Just meditating. It stimulates those same parts of the brain that the stress does. It just does it in the reverse. So instead of turning down the frontal lobe and turning up the limbic system, it turns down the limbic system and turns up the frontal lobe. That's what we need to see that. That's why we do the things we do for reward, is we're trying to stimulate that frontal lobe. Meditate does a similar thing. So there are lots of things that we can do here, but just realize you're not alone. You're not on this journey alone, and other people have done it. Is it something that you can succeed on yourself? Absolutely. Everybody can do this. Does it help to have somebody to help you? 100%. There's no doubt on that. That from my experience, from where I was 10 years ago to where I am now, I would have healed myself way, way faster if I would have known the things that I know now. We see other people that come in that get a lot faster results than what they would get on their own. But is it something you absolutely have to have? No? I mean, like I said, a lot of health comes down to the things that we all know. It comes down to diet and nutrition and sleep and all these other things. Things that most people know what they need to do. It's just a matter of stacking enough of it in the right pattern. And that's it. All success is in any aspect. It doesn't matter if we're talking about health or career or financial or whatever. It's stacking enough of the behaviors that we need to get the result that we need. Doing that long enough for the results that we need. So I hope that this helps you. I know that, like I said, I know that there are a lot of people that are struggling with this right now. I've heard a lot of it here in the last few months, and I wanted to make this not just for those people, because I know that if I've heard it from those people, there are a lot of other people out there that are dealing with this, and it's something that we all need to hear, right? I've been there, I've been frustrated, and you just need to hear that somebody else has gone through it, somebody else has experienced this, and it gives you the motivation to keep going. So if you need something, reach out to me. You know, if you need some positive movement, comment down here in the site. I will help you however I possibly can, even if it's just lending you an ear, giving you that motivation you need. I love you. I appreciate you. If this helps you, like and subscribe to the guide. It gives me the information I need on whether or not this is helpful. If this stuff is helpful, I'm going to share more of it. If you don't find it helpful, then I'm going to find something else to share, because I want to provide you the things that you need to take that next step in your health. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you on the next video.